Hi everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. This case has really taken a turn. Everything we thought we knew about it, the murder weapon, the crime scene, and everything has turned out to be wrong. So where do we go from here? Who knows? We're going to see what Vasquez has to say about all this. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died in the same way that he caused another man to die 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? ... Ho-ho, very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you on my script writing staff. You deny what I say is true? ... Mr. Wright, let's say, for the sake of argument, that Hammer died at the trailer, as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? And in the evil magistrate's costume, no less. Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1 and returned to the trailer all in the space of a 15-minute break? How could I have disposed of the body? ... The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jack Hammer have been pushed off the stairs to his death, then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? She couldn't deal with it. I bet she could move it. She had another way. So, I mean, I theorised... I can't remember if it was in the last one, but I theorised that they maybe used the van. So, I'm guessing it's going to be she had another way. I mean, she couldn't deal with it, isn't it? Right? I bet she could move it. I mean, maybe, but it's a very finite window, well, very sort of small window, isn't it? So, she had another way. What if she had another way to carry the body, other than with her own hands? For instance? Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. And there was a way for you to carry that body. Interesting, let's hear it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. Oh, okay, so we're going to need to find some sort of evidence that shows how she carried the body. I mean, do we have anything that says about the van? Sleeping pills... Oh yeah, we do, the van. Okay, I'm going to use this van to drive Vasquez to Studio 1 after the meeting in the trailer. Miss Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1, and you used the studio van to do it. Ha ha ha. I mean, we theorised that was the case, right? Recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There was a van there, right? I had Sal drive me. That's right. You used the van to carry the body to Studio 1. Then, before everyone else got there, you put the body in the magistrate costume. Hold on, right? Don't forget, it was Sal Manella that drove the van. Yeah, they were both in on it, I'm guessing. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manella was a conspirator? I almost said constipator for some reason there. Don't ask me why. I mean, he had to be, right? We're going to take a risk on this, but he had to be, surely. Of course, Sal Manella has to have been a conspirator. I mean, he might be a constipator as well. The body had to be placed in the van and put into the costume. There's no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. He might have been a bit constipated after eating all of that candy or whatever it was from the employee area, right? Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai costume. Sorry, this is taking a turn that it shouldn't be going down. They had to, because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Well, Miss Vasquez, shall I continue? ... No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose, you win. It was fun. Really? I win? What? Everyone's just dotting. Okay. So what happens next? Don't question mark me. Don't you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? Huh? I lost? Something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean... D. Vasquez, so it was you? You killed Jack Hammer? What is going on? Surely she's not just going to own up to it like that, is she? Like she just doesn't care? Who can say? Huh? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright, we just engaged in a battle of wits. And the result of that battle, you proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Okay, right. But that is only a possibility. Ah, okay. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright. Okay. What? Order! Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Of course, it's as the witness says. Certainly, it does seem very likely she did it, but, there's no proof. Do we actually have proof? Edgeworth isn't sure. ... Well, I came here as a witness today. If you've no more questions, I'll be leaving. What do I do now? You did it, Vasquez. Testify again, Vasquez. No further questions, Vasquez. Ooh, okay. You did it, Vasquez. I mean, we don't have proof though, so I'm guessing she'll just say that. Testify again, Vasquez. Maybe we can get her to like go through it all again and contradict herself. No further questions. I mean, that just seems like we're letting her off. So, I mean, we could get her to testify again. I don't know whether it will literally just go on a loop and do the same questions again and then end up back here, but let's try it. Doesn't seem to be the little health bar. So one thing I'm not sure about, maybe you guys can clear this up in the comments, is if we choose an option like those ones we had there, but the health bar isn't displayed in the top right corner, does that mean that no matter what we choose, we can't lose health on the bar? Or is it just you can lose it at any point? Because I'm not too sure on that. I'd like you to testify again. Testify again? No one to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I said before. The truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. What would happen if I said it again? You'd ask the same questions, get the same answers. A waste of time. Damn. To come so far only to fail. Oh, maybe we didn't want to do testify again then. As it seems there are no further questions. I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Miss Vasquez. Objection! Sorry? What? Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I was hoping to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honour. I didn't. What is going on in this case? This is just going all over the place. It's like gone completely off the rails. I see. Very well. What the hell? Your Honour, I request that the witness testify again. What is going on? You're the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness. I just want to hear your testimony again. Does this make any sense to you, Your Honour? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Edgeworth, I too see little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly did you want her to testify about? Well, yes, Indeed, verily, I say, ergo. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body? Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter. Nick, why did Edgeworth... Who knows? He probably realised she did it too. But, wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that? Edgeworth. So maybe, like, because obviously... I do know from like doing my sort of adventure game releases video that the collection came out a couple of weeks ago that you play as Edgeworth in. So I wonder if we're going to like see this slight character shift from Edgeworth where he goes from being like this really obnoxious enemy to being a guy who actually like underneath it all is like morally in the right. I don't know, we'll find out, but either way it's an interesting little twist that he's got involved here. After finding the body, I was with Sal and Oldback, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. The security lady, Oldback, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to their trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. Okay, short and sweet. I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, Nick, we're close, real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick. Right. Okay, so we're going to press on everything, see if we can find any sort of contradictions here. I was with Sal and Old Bag, the security lady, when we found the body. Okay, see, the health bar's up there now, so I wonder if you can only actually get, like, game over on a case or lose health on a case when you're, like, in a time period where the bar displays. I don't know. What time was that? We were to meet at 5 for the rehearsal, so I'd say it was then. When exactly did you and Mr. Manila arrive at the studio? About 10 minutes before. I wasn't stuffing any bodies into costumes, mind you. Press harder, back off. I mean, in the past we've always pressed harder, right? So let's just do it. It's never failed us before. Where were the other employees when you got to the studio? They weren't there yet. Well, then you could have put Hammer in that costume with Salmonella's help. Oh? What did I just say? Did I not just say I wasn't stuffing any bodies into any costumes? I mean, that's what you would say, though, if you were trying to get away with it. You should try to listen to what people are saying, boy. But boy, the witness will continue her testimony. Right, we didn't lose any health, so I don't think that harmed us. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. Mr. Powers was taking a nap, correct? So he says. Did no one go to call him? Remember? Remember? What? There was a dead body lying in front of us, yet you expect me to be calm? You certainly seemed calm enough when I accused you of murder. Let's just press harder again. Wait a second, wouldn't that be the other way around? The other way around? You discovered a murdered body and one person was missing, right? Wouldn't you normally go looking for the missing person? I have to agree with the defense on this one. Well, Miss Vasquez? Logically speaking, perhaps, but no one there was thinking very logically, I assure you. Also, without his still samurai costume, Powers doesn't really stand out. We often left him on the bus when shooting at location. No one noticed he was missing. Poor Powers. Well, I suppose that explains that. Very well, Miss Vasquez, you may continue. I immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. What was everyone else doing at that time? No one said a thing. It was silent, completely silent. So we stood there until Powers finally arrived on the scene. Sorry, I'm late. Then, silence. Dead silence. Did you have to use the term dead silence? Silence. Hey, Nick. Why is everyone so quiet? Someone should do something to lighten things up. Huh? The security lady Old Bag was quite agitated, pointed at Powers saying he did it. Old Bag, the security lady. Why did the security lady think Powers had done it? She said because she saw him going towards the studio. Right, the still samurai. Press harder. Did the detective arrest Mr. Powers based solely on the security lady's word? Perhaps not. She seems to have also given the detective that photograph. Of course, I heard all this after the fact. That photograph, meaning the one taken by the security camera. She's not known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to Hammer. I don't think there's anything in there I can use. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. You asked to be left out? Yes. It seems that everyone else was questioned, and I'm really not fond of that sort of thing. But you can't just decide who the police will and won't question. Thankfully, the studio thinks otherwise. They were nice enough to understand that since we were in a meeting, there was no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. Covered for you? Or covered it up for you? There must have been a lot riding on it with all those bigwigs at the meeting. I'm sure her professionals helped convince everyone they didn't require questioning. Professionals being the Matthew guys, right? I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. The script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Press harder. Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio 1 for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder after all. Who could think of rehearsing after that? Oh, yeah, I guess. Very well. Miss Vasquez, please continue. Your Honour, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Huh? Think. Miss Vasquez says she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio One. Edgeworth! Oh man, Edgeworth is going up in my estimations. Order, order! Mr. Edgeworth, what you have just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defence? ... I appreciate the concern, Your Honour. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defence. What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had a perfectly good reason to believe that there would be no rehearsal. Very well, the witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left them behind. Okay. How did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal. He told me. Sal, the director? You have to find something to peg this on her here, or everything we've done till now will have been wasted. I believe in you, Nick. Go get him. Okay, so we're back to the beginning again. So let's see what we've got in our evidence. We've got the photo of him being injured. I mean, could Sal have seen the photo in advance to know this? Or maybe, like, I don't know, maybe. Mr. Monkey's head was blocking the thing. We've got these. We've got the photo of the old accident. Sleeping pill bottle. And obviously we've got the van. Okay. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. So I immediately called the police and Powers showed up. Security lady Oldbag was quite agitated, pointing at Powers saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Okay. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left them behind. Okay, so I wonder if that's going to be important. But how are we going to prove that? Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left them behind. Have we got anything? Like, is there anything about this? So at 2 PM, he was injured with a bad leg. Can we like have a closer look at this? Like, Sal isn't lurking in the background or anything, is he? I mean, maybe. Knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left them behind. The only thing I can think of is this photo. But it's when we maybe have to find something to peg this on her here. Okay. Sal and old bag. Assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. That all makes sense from what we thought, right? Powers showed up. Security lady was quite agitated, pointing at Powers saying he did it. Obviously because she'd seen the photo. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left them behind. So she's saying that she knew, because Sal told her, that Hammer was injured in advance of all of this stuff happening, right? I mean, that just seems a little bit weird. I don't know. Can we press this again? How did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal. He told me. Sal the director. You have to find something to peg this on her, or everything we... Okay. Go get him. So Sal and old bag security... We must be missing something. Found the body. The assistant was there too. Only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police. Security Lady Oldbag was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trade to get my script and direction notes. I knew that Hammer was... Hang on! It's that, isn't it? Hammer was injured, but the photo was assumed to be Powers. So she's saying that Sal told her that Hammer was injured, but all along we've been told that Powers was the one who was injured. Because it's Powers' photo and he's dragging one leg. So it's got to be that, surely. So the one who was limping around in the picture, they knew it wasn't Powers after, like, all along? You knew that Hammer was injured. Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo. But that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? So she's saying that Sal told her it was Hammer, but we knew it was Powers who got injured. I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right. He must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Manella was at the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen, exactly. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez, you heard Mr. Manella wrong. You saw Hammer limping. Well, I'm guessing it's going to be... it's going to be this one, right? I mean, you heard Mr. Manella wrong. That's just, like, speculation. So she must have seen him limping to know it, and then tried to pin it on Sal? Actually, you didn't hear anything from Mr. Manella. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yeah, right before she killed him. Yes, but wasn't it Mr. Powers who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Ah, and when was he doing this? Well, it would have to have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume. So did she kill Hammer thinking it was Powers because he was doing the limp? Is that what happened? And went to Studio 2, where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in the Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning. Haha, so she got it wrong. Order, order, I will have order. Witness. Can you refute this claim? Dot 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 dot. Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Dot dot dot. Very well. I have a question for you. Ugh. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Alright, so we knew there was all this stuff going on between them, right? Yes, he'd fallen on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. Yes, you would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? Good question, and we're going to find out in the next one because we are out of time. So as always, thank you very much for watching. A big thank you to my patrons, Arcades Games, Wayne, Nate, Terminally Nerdy, Paul from the Phantom Fellows, Lyle, Hobo, Numinous, Kumidin, Paulione, Frosty the Sheep, JohnCom555, Chrissy, Paul James, and Zolties, and I'll see you next time.